already, welcome back to the Final Fantasy VII Enemy Trivia Challenge, the day after Christmas. Hope everyone had an amazing Christmas. I got my Christmas Final Fantasy VII Christmas shirt on. I got my Danky Kang poster back here that my son got me for Christmas. We're balling out. You might be wondering, why haven't you started the game yet? Where's the game? Usually you start the game. Well, I have a bit of a fun surprise for you. Game's already going. As you can see, we're fighting Trick Play here. I figured because we're going to be fighting Trick Play at some point today, I should do a little trivia to start off. So hopefully this works and the game doesn't just crash. It might crash. I have no idea what's about to happen. But here's just a regular fight with Trick Play. We got a pretty strong party here, so it should be easy to just whack him and kill him here. Yeah, sorry for the flashbang. Except Barrett sucks. He's got his ultimate weapon, but he has no materia, so it did no damage. All right, there we go. We beat him. All right. Looking good, looking good. Holy crap. That's a lot of gil. So, I figured I'd show this off at the start because it would take too long during the run. But I actually had this playing all night long at ×5 speed. So this has been running for like 40-ish, the equivalent of like 40 hours. So we made, what, 2 mil? 2.5 mil gil? So Trick Play has a infinite gil farm. Every time he uses his gold rush attack, or whatever it's called, the gold mountain attack, you make 800 extra gil that fight. And it's infinite. So it will stack forever. So if you have a party that can survive in the fight forever, then you could just leave your game on and get infinite gil. And surprisingly, it's pretty easy to get a party that can survive forever. Usually it's pretty hard. Like, any fight that you take damage in, you're gonna eventually die. You're gonna eventually run out of MP, or like even if you have like last attack revive or something, you're eventually gonna run out of MP. If you put on regen, it's gonna eventually wear off. There's really not a lot you can do to just leave the game for hours without eventually having to come back and heal. But funnily enough, the one enemy in the game that has an attack that makes you get more gil at the end, he also has an attack that heals you. He has a, I think 1 in 8 chance. Let's see if I wrote it down here. No, I didn't write it down. It's like 1 in 8 chance or something to use an attack that heals you. And then he has a fire attack, an earth attack, and a water attack. So if you can just absorb those elements, plus he has an attack that randomly heals you, the only attack that's going to deal any damage to you is his rock throw attack, and it's never going to be enough to kill you when all of his other attacks are healing you. So you can just absorb the elements, or even if you don't absorb the elements, just be tanky enough for him to eventually heal you to full. You can just leave the game on and get infinite gil. And I actually wondered how high it would go. This was like 40 hours worth, so this might actually have capped at some point. Because it could have been even crazier than this, I think. But there you go. 2 mil gil. And I fought him in the Temple of the Ancients because I just cheated, but there you go. So yeah, thought that would be funny to show off. And I couldn't really show it off like during the run because it would take too long. So now we can start proper here. And we're about to go fight The Wall. Pink Floyd's The Wall. I don't remember if there was anything. How's the audio, by the way? Is the audio good? It sounds quiet on my end, but I think it's because I turned down my headset. Yeah, it looks good. Let's see. Trying to remember what I got going here. We have the Princess Guard, but we're not really doing a Princess Guard build. We're just kind of keeping to what we have already. Did I give Bahamut? Yeah, I gave Bahamut to Cloud. Not yet, Mav. I'll check it out and maybe show it off next week. I'm not even sure what it is yet, so. Did I get something better for Aerith? We do have the Dragon Armlet. But we're going to lose whatever we give her. So I'll probably just leave her with the gold armlet. You can have the Dragon Armlet. Why is everyone using Snake Boat? See, I already, yeah, okay, that's fine, that's fair. I will take that punishment. I 100% should have read your message earlier, but Christmas happened. But yeah, hope everyone had a great Christmas. I already said this to Twitch chat, but YouTube, hope everyone had a great Christmas. I had an incredible Christmas. Maybe the best Christmas ever. I really did. I had such an awesome Christmas. And I was sorely needed, so. A bit anxious. A bit anxious is an understatement. But yeah, it was exactly what the doctor ordered, let's put it that way. Exactly what the doctor ordered. It's really what I needed, so. And thanks to everybody that reached out and stuff, and everyone that's been congratulating us. It means a lot, guys, so thank you very much. It was even better than the Game Awards, believe it or not. Believe it or not. I have to show you guys this. I have to show you guys this. I don't want to go off on a Christmas tangent. But my wife got me a single Pokemon card pack. A single pack of the Prismatic Evolutions in my stocking. It was just literally like, plop, here's one pack of Prismatic. I pull this. I don't know if you can see that. I pull this out of that single pack. $200+ Leafeon out of that single pack. This is the set that everyone's like complaining has no hits and stuff. And there's like no reason to even buy it because it's way too expensive. What kind of Christmas miracle? I've heard about Christmas luck when it comes to opening packs on Christmas. And she's gotten me card packs before, and I always get like pretty good luck in those packs on Christmas. Nothing ever close to that. Nothing ever close to that. That was insane. I just opened it on the couch with the boys. I was just like, hey, let's open some Pokemon, boys. This will be fun. I'm like, my son's like touching every card, like, oh, look at that one, look at that one. I pull the last card, see that? I'm like, whoa, hold on a second here. What's going on? What is this? I couldn't believe it. This one's going into the safe. I said, boys, we may have hit the jackpot. Both of them run around the house yelling, "We got a jackpot! We got a jackpot!" They have no idea what that means. We got a jackpot! Mom, Dad got a jackpot! It was so funny. Yeah, it was great. Now I gotta explain to the whole family that I just pulled a $220 card out of this Pokemon pack. All the adults that don't understand TCGs are like, "You pulled a what? He pulled a what? That cardboard is more expensive than half the Christmas gifts I bought?" It was wild. Why didn't I buy that for you instead? All right, we got Demon's Gate. Let's talk about Demon's Gate. My boys are 8 and 5. And then we have a new little girl as of what, 5 days ago, who is 3.5 weeks. Our Christmas miracle. All right, Demon's Gate. So the regular name for this enemy in the series is Demon Wall. The translation is closer to Demon's Gate with like an apostrophe S. And Rebirth names the enemy Demon Gate, but for some reason the actual name in Final Fantasy VII is Demon's Gate with no apostrophe. So, so there's like 4 different names to this thing. In the past, it's been Demon Wall. In the translation, it's Demon's Gate with an apostrophe. In Rebirth, it's Demon Gate, but in the original, it's Demon's Gate with no apostrophe. So not only is this the worst possible one, but also, like, can we just come up with a name? Can we just stick to a name? I do like that this one's a little like it's Demon's Gate instead of Demon Wall. Like, I do like that they changed it a bit for this one to make him like special, but like put the apostrophe in there or something. What the heck? Demon's Gate is another huge issue in speedruns and challenge runs due to his lack of cheese strats available, his big damage, and his massive magic defense. Demon Wall has so much magic defense that I'm completely convinced that this boss is actually supposed to be a hidden tutorial to teach the player that the Bahamut materia ignores magic defense. So you get Bahamut just before this fight, and I've talked a lot about how the game likes to give you stuff right before fights that are good for the fight. That was the whole inspiration for Scavenger Mod. And this is another great example where they give you Bahamut, who ignores magic defense, which is a total missable mechanic that the game never tells you in any way. But he does ignore magic defense. And then they throw this enemy at you, who has insane magic defense, right after you get the Bahamut material. So I'm convinced that this dude is really supposed to be a tutorial to teach you, like, hey, the Dargon ignores magic defense. And Bahamut is the best way to fight this guy, but unfortunately you only get one cast. Demon's Gate is the first big boss post-Midgard to not be easily defeated with poison, as he's immune. But funnily enough, he's only immune to the damage, not the ailment. So you can still poison him with added effect poison, but he'll just take 0 damage after each tick. He can rarely use Petrify Eye to slow numb a character, and he won't target characters with slow numb with any move. So if you actually slow numb your whole party, he won't attack you. But, you'll eventually get turned to stone. So there is a wild strat potential, which I've never tried in a challenge run before. But if you were at slowest battle speed and you had a way to easily slow numb yourself, there is a wild world where you could slow numb yourself on purpose and then like deal some damage and then unslow numb yourself. He would still rush you because he would use Demon Rush and it would still hit everyone, but all his other attacks wouldn't hit you. So that would be interesting, but Unfortunately, there's no easy way to get slow numb, so that I can think of. In fact, is there even a way to get slow numb on your own? I don't think there's an item for it. I don't think there is. Is there? Is there a single way to get slow numb on yourself? I don't think so. The best way to deal with Demon Wall is to deal at least 2,500 damage as quickly as possible, which forces him to move forward and ready his Demon Rush attack. Demon Rush does a lot of damage to everybody, but also takes a turn to move forward and move backwards, giving you time to heal and prepare for the attack. Then you can deal another 2,500 to force Demon Rush again before he uses one of his more problematic moves. So that's how we deal with him in pretty much every challenge run. Whenever you see me like trying to do a Princess Guard strat or in something like absolute lowest level, the goal is to just deal as much damage as possible to force him to keep using Demon Rush over and over so you never have to see any of his other attacks. You can also cast slow on him to make those extra movement turns take even longer. Also, another Death Ruins Final Fantasy VII moment. Demon Gate pops out of the door in the cutscene, but in the fight, the door is on the wall to the side of the room. So if I were to like summon Bahamut here, you can clearly see that the door is like on the side of the room, even though he's supposed to be the door. There it is. You saw it. Literally unplayable video game. Speaking of which, we did enough damage, so we move forward. And now we have time to cast Big Guard. So normally he would, you know, just start whacking people, but we got a turn to do stuff because we made him move forward. Red's just popping off here. Oh, geez. Demon Wall with the crits. Happy Friday yet? Through barrier, by the way. Through barrier, nearly one-shot Cloud. Oh, I did, man. I really did. I had the best Christmas. Boom. Clean. And we got Seal Evil. While we're going through this cutscene, I do want to talk about one thing that I read about in the comments. So somebody commented, their name was Narv, N-A-R-V-R-E. They were asking if the pagoda, the Wutai Pagoda, is a reference to the Kabuki theater, which is like a classical form of Japanese theater. You've probably seen it before in like movies or any movie that's like referencing Japanese theater, you probably saw something like similar. So I was kind of interested in that. I wondered if the Wutai Pagoda was not only a reference to other types of theater and like playwrights and stuff, but also like the pagoda itself and the fights and the characters in the pagoda is all basically a kabuki play that's like being played out, right? So I looked it up, and I actually think that instead of kabuki, it might actually be more of a reference to Noh, N-O-H, which is very similar to kabuki. It's also a classical form of Japanese theater, but Noh is more in Noh theater, they dress up as like monsters and stuff more. So it's more of like this fantastical, fictional thing with like monsters, and they wear the masks and everything. So it might be more of a reference to that, given that all of the characters turn into monsters. So you could say that like each character has their own name, but then they turn into a monster during the play, during the fight, whatever. It's a bit of a stretch, but it's a cool idea. I think if the characters themselves maybe put on masks or something before they transformed, it would probably be closer. Maybe when we see remake, maybe when we see the remake version of the Pagoda, maybe it'll be way more over the top. Maybe all the characters will be in crazy outfits and put on a mask and then transform or something, and then we could say like for sure. For now, they're just kind of people, and then they just transform into monsters for the fight, so I don't know. But it's a cool idea for sure. I really like the idea that, because then it would be a traditional Japanese theater, but then also reference theaters and playwrights and stuff outside of Japan, which is really cool if that were the case, you know? It'd be like a double reference. So really cool idea. I don't know if there's enough there to say for sure, but it's a really cool idea. Yeah, Square, if you're listening, make the Pagoda a whole like Noh theater play. How sick would that be? Even have Yuffie like put on different masks and transform and make it like a monster battle arena, where Yuffie turns into a monster and the Pagoda people turn into monsters, and you have like a monster on monster fight. That'd be sick. Yeah, my son got me this poster for Christmas. I'm thinking I put it in our bathroom. Could you imagine? Like right over the toilet? Just Danky Kang staring at you while you pee. I think that'd be good. See if I can get my gold armlet back. Nice. Give me that. Yo, nice full metal. Like I said, there's always a bit of Christmas magic when you open up packs on Christmas, but I've never had that much magic. Like, not only is it an insane card, and it was only one pack, but that set is notorious for having, like, 0 hits. Like, you buy an entire box of 36 packs and get nothing in it type drop rates. Yo, thank you so much, Mav. Thank you very much for the 78 tier 3. Oh, Oh, there was one other thing. There was one other thing about the theater too. So I was going down the rabbit hole of the no plays, and I found this. It was on Wikipedia, but I found this Japanese literature specialist who specifically said that the play Waiting for Godot was a parody of the no form of Japanese theater. So he specifically said that the play Waiting for Godot is a parody of that type of theater. And of course, Godot is a reference to Waiting for Godot. So, I mean, it's still a stretch because it's just like one guy that said that, but it is really curious that they specifically talked about that play. So I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe in the remake we'll see a big no play. Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're definitely going to do something cool with the pagoda regardless. They might just do something different entirely, but they're going to do something cool with it. I think they should go all out and just have Godot never appear. You get all the way to the end of the pagoda and then Godot just never shows up. Should I get Sea of Stars or Chained Echoes? Chained Echoes, and it's not even close. Don't even ask me that question again. Don't even come at me with dumb questions like that. I freaking love Sea of Stars. I absolutely love Sea of Stars. One of my favorite games of that year. Chained Echoes is one of the best games I ever played in my life. So, it's not even a competition. Okay, we actually have 2 enemies to fight here. Wrong way. Yeah, so those of you that haven't heard me absolutely shill Chained Echoes, it's one of the best games I've ever played in my life. It's also on sale right now, I think, for the Steam sale. Yes, it really is that good. Watch my Let's Play of it, and within a few episodes, you're going to quit watching the Let's Play and buy it and play it yourself, and then watch the rest of it. Mav doesn't know what he's talking about. What makes it so great? It's literally a combination of all of your favorite PS1 RPGs. It is Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy XII, Chrono Trigger, Xenogears, and Suikoden, all put into one. It was made by one guy over 7 years. It is the most indie darling masterpiece you'll ever play. I don't know where I'm going. I'm too busy talking about Chained Echoes. Has one of the best stories I've ever played. Has a great soundtrack, but what really gets me is the combat. If you're watching the Final Fantasy X Masters mod right now, and you're like, I love this idea of not grinding. Like, I love this idea of, because you can't grind, every enemy in the game is tailored specifically to your power level, so they can make all the fights super hard but super rewarding. Guess what? That's what Chained Echoes does in its regular gameplay. In Chained Echoes' regular gameplay, it does not give you XP for fights. It instead gives you AP for abilities, and then the game actually knows exactly what level you are for each boss fight, so it tailors each boss fight to your level. It makes them all super challenging but super rewarding. Chained Echoes is the Final Fantasy X Masters mod, but casually. Yeah, try to do what Final Fantasy VIII did with scaling enemies, but correctly. You can still grind. It's not grindless. You can still make money. You can still get AP for abilities. You can still... There's a whole Suikoden mechanic where you can just go out and find new characters. Like, it's... I mean, you don't use the characters in fights, but they help you. There's all sorts of ways to get stronger. It's not like you're going to get to a boss and get stuck and be like, well, I lose. But in terms of just XP and level, it knows where you're at. So it can make really tough, fun boss fights. Okay, we have 2 enemies to fight here. The beach just has Tanadu birds, and we already fought him. But there's 2 enemies to fight here. One of them is Trick Play, of course. So we already talked about Trick Play's gill mechanic. The original Japanese name was closer to Trick Prey, so they changed it to Trick Play, which I think is a better name. He has a very unique attack called Gold Mountain, which increases the amount of gil they drop by 800, as we talked about before. It also has L4 Suicide, just like Mu, but has a massive 1% more chance to use it. So if you didn't learn L4 Suicide from Mu, you can learn it from Trick Play, and he will use it 1% more of the time. So, gaming. He works similar to Mu, and then he has a ton of attacks that are all just random chance to be used, including the same Hot Springs attack, which heals a party member. And then, of course, like I said, you can make infinite gil off of him. I have Tifa for some reason. He's also a cute squirrel with a fluffy tail. True. Very true, very true. Let's see, we can give you the Gigas Armlet now, which means we can give you the Dragon Armlet. Give you the Talisman back. I don't know what to give you. It's fine, I guess. Give you Leviathan just for the memes. Sure. It's fine. Okay. I believe he shows up. I might be wrong. Yeah, there he is. Okay. So this is the Vlakarados. A very infamous enemy. And I always forget that he shows up here. I always fight him once you get to the snow area. There's that little, like, grass... I always call it the leg. It looks like a little leg coming off the side of the grass area, or the snow area. That, I always go there and fight this guy. But he actually can show up right in front of Bone Village. The original Japanese name of this enemy is Burakyoryodosu. Burakyoryoidosu. Burakyoryodosu. This is probably supposed to translate into Brachiosaurus, as in the dinosaur. The Final Fantasy IV Advance, in Final Fantasy IV Advance, there was an enemy with this Japanese name, and the translators turned it into Brachiorydos. Brachioryaidos. And that looked like this. This is this guy. So they like combined Brachiosaurus and then this Rados part of the name to make Brachiorydos. So that's this guy. Then in Final Fantasy VI, they have another enemy with that name, with the Japanese name, and the translators changed it this time to Brachiosaur. who looks like this. You probably remember this guy. Then there was another one in Final Fantasy X, and this time they changed the name completely to Thuban, which is this guy from the battle arena, who's pretty infamous because he's really tough. In Final Fantasy VII, they decided to yet another different name, Vlakoridos. So basically, long story short, in 4 different games, in the Japanese version, the name was simply Burakiridosu. That name. For all these enemies, it was always that name. But in English, they translated it 4 different ways. They translated it to Brachiorados, Brachiosaur, Thuban, and then Vlakoridos. So, I don't know. They couldn't make up their mind as to how to translate this name. To be fair, the translators only... to be fair to the translators, only the Final Fantasy VI version actually looks like a long-necked dinosaur. So the rest of them, they kind of came up with dragon-sounding names. But yeah, it would have made more sense if they just stuck with one name. Because in the Japanese version, they all have the same name. Now this enemy, the Vlakoridos here, he is infamous for 2 reasons. One of them being that you can steal a carob nut for him, which you need for the blue, green, black chocobos. And the second reason he's infamous is because he has 33,333 HP, which in the battle arena gets doubled, so it's 66,666 HP. Even though it's fought early into Disc 2, it has the second most HP in the game, just behind the Master Tonberry. So Master Tonberry has the most HP in the game. This guy has the second most HP in the game, and you fight him this early, and you're not even into. In fact, in my trivia here, I said early into Disc 2. We're not even at Disc 2 yet. You can fight him in Disc 1 if you fight him here. And if you fight him in the battle arena, he has even more HP than the Master Tonberry. I think Master Tonberry has 55,555. So yeah, if you fight him in the battle arena, he has the most HP for a regular enemy in the game. And I don't know why. Like, he doesn't look like an enemy that should have that much HP, but he does. Even though it has resistance to gravity, Demi and Laser are still strong just because of how insane his HP is. And Poison also ticks for 1,000 damage every tick. He will use Violent Advance more as his HP goes down, which is unlike a lot of other enemies in the game, which have too small of HP pools for this to matter. It actually matters in this fight because he has so much HP. So one of the only lower HP value AIs to actually make a big difference. Once he gets down to like 10k HP, he starts really spamming it. So best way, like I said, best way to take care of him is you hit him with a little bio, you hit him with a little laser. Hit him with a little laser. I should steal a carob nut while I'm here. Yuffie. Big damage. Oh, by the way, Red 13's doing giga damage now because he has a Gigas armlet. Let's see if he hits with this. Nope. Give me a hit with this death blow. No! Give me a hit with this death blow. me hit with this death blow. Boom! 1600 damage. 1600 damage on disc 1. How much strength does he have? 88. 156 attack. Reminder, the max is 255. Well, for strength, that is. I never understood Deathblow. On average, over time, it gives you the same amount of damage. It's an auto crit at less accuracy. So, yeah, it's not great, honestly. I use it because it's fun. Because it's more fun to see a 1600 than to see two 800s. But if you're really trying to min-max your damage, or if you're doing it... Like, you'll probably notice I rarely ever use Deathblow in challenge runs. Now, for turn economy, though, it can be huge. So, let's say we're fighting Demon Gate, and we need to do 2500 damage before he gets off an Icicle. It's better to use Deathblow and hope it hits rather than attack twice. So, if you're looking for turn economy, Deathblow can be huge. Also, if you just need the damage, if you need 2 death blows versus 4 regular attacks, you got to use Deathblow. Also, as many will point out, Deathblow is busted on Vincent and Tifa because they have several 255 accuracy weapons. If you give them their 255 accuracy weapons and give them Deathblow, they cook up a omelet. So, but none of our characters have 255 weapons in this party. And unfortunately, other than having a 255 accuracy weapon, there's really no other way to increase your accuracy. There's no, like, aim skill or, item you can throw to increase your accuracy or anything. So other than just being Tifa or being Vincent, there's no good way to have good accuracy other than just leveling up. Nope, sadness does not increase accuracy, contrary to popular belief. I always forget, is it here or over there? One of these days I'll remember where the heck this freaking thing is. I think it's here. I think paralysis does, actually, but not, a lot of bosses can't be paralyzed. Nice. Nope, luck just helps with, actually, does luck help with hit chance in this game? I don't think so. I think it only helps with crit. But, again, there's no easy way to increase luck unless you're throwing hero drinks. Like, in terms of just equipping equipment or material or whatever, there's no way to increase your accuracy. Alright, we have a couple cool enemies here, surprisingly, for how short of an area this is. One in particular I'm excited to talk about. But first we got another great name, the Mall Dancer. Classic Final Fantasy VII enemy name. So the Mall Dancer, their name was most likely supposed to be Mall Dancer, as in M-A-U-L space Dancer. But somehow the translator was like, obviously this guy's dancing at a mall, so let's call him a Mall Dancer. Dance has the same name as an attack from the Garuda, but instead of draining MP, this one inflicts slow and darkness. So for some reason, they gave both attacks the name Dance, probably because this guy has Dancer in the name. But they do completely different things. And then we also have a fan favorite, the Bound Fat. Has a surprisingly smart AI targeting the party member with the lowest HP for Body Blow, the party member with the lowest magic defense for Ice 2, and the party member with the lowest physical defense for Dark Needle. So if he uses Body Blow, he targets lowest HP. If he uses his magic move, Ice 2, he targets the party member with the lowest magic defense. And if he uses his physical attack, Dark Needle, then he targets the lowest physical defense. So pretty in-depth, cool AI for a random enemy like this. Will always use Death Sentence as its final attack on its killer if it is defeated with a magic attack or a summon, but doesn't include enemy skills. So you can put a summon and enemy skill on somebody to learn Death Sentence easily. So if you haven't learned Death Sentence yet, which I think we have on both, I'm not sure. I don't have it on this one, so I could just use Leviathan here. And we should get a free Death Sentence, unless it doesn't kill him. But I think it will. Also, ear warning. Headphone user warning. There you go. So, all three of them will use it on him. Bound fat is how I feel after Christmas dinner. This is gonna miss. He's got darkness. Okay, he hit. Alright, cool. Somehow he hit through darkness. Makes sense. Death blow through darkness. What even is accuracy in this game? Don't know. How far we have to go. I think we can fight them all here. All right. Another big fan favorite, the Hungry. So Hungry has an awesome gimmick. He uses mini on enemies and then eats them. So I don't know if you've ever actually fought this guy long enough to see his gimmick, because he's pretty easy to just kill. But his whole gimmick is that he'll use mini on you, and then because you're big enough, you're small enough to get eaten, he'll then eat you. There you go. And the animation looks so good because, you're tiny, so you actually fit in his mouth. He has more of a chance to eat depending on missing HP, but will not use eat on the final party member. So once it's down to one party member, he won't eat the final party member. He also has some concept art, which is pretty awesome. And I like how the name has a question mark. Like, do we call this thing Hungry? Then they ended up calling him Hungry. He looks like something out of like Tim Burton. He looks like something you would expect in either Nightmare Before Christmas or the Kingdom Hearts version of Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, pretty sweet. I like his eyes a lot. His eyes are like crazy. I mean, look at him. Look at him on his model. They look like they're about to pop out. Yeah, there's some other enemies we'll fight later that kick you as well. There's one in the final dungeon that can kick you. We'll just fight here. We could fight the other ones. Oh yeah, and of course Ghost Ship can. We can fight the other ones after the temple, but let's do it now. Another Hungry. Yeah, I just think that's the coolest gimmick ever. How he causes everyone to be mini and then eats them. He does look like the poo-poo from Final Fantasy VIII. Doesn't the poo-poo say something about being hungry too, or am I making that up? Also, why am I only getting hungries? Why? Oh wow, you can only fight hungries here. What the heck? I never knew that. Huh. I never knew that. You can only fight hungries on this screen. Is that really? Does that like change later or something? Yeah, that's so weird. I wonder if that changes later, because I thought I remembered grinding apocryphes on this screen. But according to Ultima, you can only fight hungries on this screen. There was no table. There's no table. No second table. So weird. Alright, we'll fight the other ones later then. Oh, I can actually see Slognad made a note here that you can fight the other ones in the Coral Valley Cave after. But yeah, hungry is only on that screen. That's weird. Alright, say it with me, chat. And we win. We won the game. Congrats, everybody. The challenge is over. We did it. We won the whole thing. It's a good run. I always say we win there because the Aurora armlet is so busted, it's nuts. It's pretty easy to just never die again once you get the Aurora armlet, and then shortly after we get the fire armlet as well. Yo, Heidi, thank you so much for the 15. Oh yeah, should I talk to the thing? Words of the Ancients? It took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to find out that those say stuff. There's one in like all these houses. I never knew they said stuff till recently. Yeah. Yeah, there's one in like every house. There's one in this one too. These little like green things. The stream of consciousness. Could this be the words of the ancients? Yeah. I found that out when I was messing around with this room, because I was checking out this room down there, which there's actually an extra room down there, and that chest was supposed to be in that room, but they never finished it. So they put the chest outside the door, which is part of the reason why we thought that's similar for the bookcase in Calm. But yeah, I was messing around with this room, and I accidentally clicked on that thing. And I was like, what the heck is this? Yeah, I think I said, like, is this part of the mod? So we were playing a mod at the time. Then one was like, no, you're just dumb. And you can have the water ring. Actually, you know what? Let's give you the water ring just for fun. Yeah. What do you have? Should probably put elemental up here so it gets XP. I'd kind of like restore to also get XP, but I want it to be on all. Guess I could give it to Cloud, but meh. I'm over it.